With me is Brendan Gilday, secondary school maths teacher, author of New Concise Project Maths, was on the radio with me last week when we talked about this. And through the magic of social media, Evie Huluan, who's a secondary school maths teacher, a PhD student in mathematics education at Trinity College, and a representative, Evie, on the Department of Education on this very matter. Would that be right?
Yes, I was invited to participate in that task force, the Project Maths Implementation Support Group, and we meet twice a year now. We met more often when Project Maths was being introduced, and it's just basically a group of both public and private sector representatives discussing how Project Maths should proceed, etc.
Yeah, and you sent me a Twitter and said, George, I'll come on the show to disabuse you of your conservative old notions.
I didn't use that language. I said I'd give you a crash course in Project Maths, George,
yes,
so anytime I'm happy to give you a private lesson if you like.
Well, I have Brendan here because I think you two should talk rather than me. But I just want to ask you a couple of questions, because I am a senile old fool after all. One.
Yes.
Is it correct that everybody who does honours maths gets a bonus of 25 points, whether they get an A1 in that subject or a D3?
You're correct in that. Everybody who takes honours maths now gets an extra 25 points, but it is a short-term measure. And
no, hold on. Just get that one first.
Okay.
All right. And then the second question is it correct that this was announced 2 years ago that you were going to bring this in?
Yes, it was announced 2 years ago for the fifth-year students who were going into their senior cycle to understand that they could have 25 extra marks if they did honours maths.
All right, okay.
Can I just finish that point, Brendan?
Finish that point.
The bonus points were introduced, and there was a huge debate about it just within the department, I understand, because, I for one was initially wary of it because I thought giving extra points for it will create the illusion that honours maths is way more difficult than every other subject, and that's why it deserves more points. But what I did agree with was that the fact that we had only 16% of students taking honours maths, which is way below international averages. International averages have 30% of students taking honours maths. So it was a short-term measure brought in to hopefully boost the numbers of students taking higher level, to dispel the myth that it's a dreadfully difficult subject.
I know it's not your subject, and I'm going to give Brendan a chance. I know it's not your subject, but they changed Irish, for instance, where the preponderance marks were going to go for oral Irish.
Yes.
Do you have any idea how big a lead time they gave on that?
They would have given the same amount.
No, they gave 6 years.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, and my point is that turning around and giving you don't do honours, you don't decide to do honours maths in fifth year.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't. You decide to do honours maths in first year.
Well,
because you're in, you're streamed through. So therefore, what you did, and the figures absolutely prove it. Absolutely prove it. You have seen the biggest jump in points in the CIO in decades.
Absolutely, but we also saw the biggest numbers doing honours maths in a decade. So 22% of students did honours maths. That's why the bonus points were brought in. And I totally disagree with the fact that you choose whether to do honours maths in first year or not. You should choose to do it. All of our students, 70% of students should be taking honours maths at junior cert level, and that means that more then should be feeding into honours senior cycle. So the fact that we have 22 is brilliant. We should be working up to 30% of students doing honours maths at second level, because then more will be able to feed into the engineering, the mathematics, the science subjects at that high level, and hopefully then we would entice more qualified graduates into teaching maths, and then it would break the cycle of the myth of maths being a dreadfully difficult and boring subject.
That's fine, but I have to say, God rest her, my mother would have got a D3 in honours maths. How you give 25?
She'd have got 25
how
points.
You give 25 points to somebody getting D3? Brendan, I'll give you enough time.
Just to say, first of all, I just thought for a minute there I felt like a wallflower, but it's fine.
No, you can have the entire
No, I'm only joking.
I'm leaving.
That's a jest. The whole point about Project Maths is it's the biggest exercise in spin in the education history, according to me. They introduced this, and I'll tell you why they introduced it. They had it for 2 years in the pilot schools. The numbers weren't coming up to scratch. These pilot schools, the 24 pilot schools, and they're more or less, they were hand-picked. You know, they had a couple of disadvantaged schools, but generally they were the better schools. Now, the numbers aren't hitting it. They knew, and there was a discussion for years, and I agree, it wasn't easy to make the call. They then decided 2 years ago they had to do this to make it a success. And it's not a bonus, it's a bribe. It's 25 points to do honours maths regardless. People are struggling at it. 2 years ago we were told, I was the only person against it, me and a couple of others. Now 57% recently on the poll came out as saying it's not a silver bullet.
Which is incorrect, actually.
No, but I'm happy that you're against it. Just one. We only need one opinion.
No, this is great because it's two against one in studio now.
We've got a situation where it's a house of straw. And let me give you the other example. The SEC in this should be ashamed of themselves. We took out the top 2,500 people from ordinary level maths and bumped them up to higher. Now, just have a look at the results. They had to then bump up a cohort of people who would normally get a B to an A C to a B, a D to a C, and God help us. And it's happened now. It's not going to happen. We had to boost almost 1,000 people who would normally get an E this year in ordinary level maths. They got across the line to a D. They trawled as low as 30%, 31% to get them across the line.
Brendan, I don't know where you got those
massive
from.
PR exercise. No, but I'm talking to people who are correcting papers, and I'm also not singing the party line here. There are kids in pilot schools who cried, and as we were talking about earlier, who cried in rooms this year, and parents are really upset. People have invested massive amounts of money.
Okay, George, I have to
not doing what it says on the tin.
Okay, so first of all, you've said it's a massive spin exercise, and somebody quoted on your show last week, George, that I was getting paid for the PR of this, and I need to refute that. No, you didn't, but your interviewee did. I am talking about Project Maths because I love maths. I want my students to love maths, and I want more people in this country to study maths at third level. That's why I'm here talking about this.
I'm on that as well.
And I entirely believe in this syllabus. And I think the people that we need to remember today are the parents and the students around the country to stop scaremongering and to stop making them frightened about it. This topic, excuse me, I'll let you speak.
Okay, sorry.
Project Maths came into the country because we had 10 to 13% of students failing maths every year. We had many reports coming out saying that our mathematics was behind the times and was not training our students for self-directed learning at third level and was not equipping them with the skills that they needed when they left secondary school. That's why this curriculum was brought in. Now, this curriculum was designed by a committee which included 3 representatives from third level mathematics departments, as well as second level, as well as private industry, as well as first level. So a lot of people went in to designing this curriculum. The 24 pilot schools were not handpicked. They actually volunteered to participate in Project Maths. And it's all there to create a classroom where more of our students can engage in the topic, more of our students can enjoy the topic, and that we have students leaving sixth year who have skills that help them in their everyday life. They understand how mortgages work, how pensions work, how to calculate the percentages of their sales, but also that we have students leaving honours mathematics that understand what they are doing, so that when they go into first year of college, that they are far better equipped to take on new topics, but also that they have the confidence in their own ability to greet questions that they have never seen before, which is all what university is about.
Even I have to come in, because to suggest that without this honours maths course, salesmen won't be able to work out their commission statements.
I didn't suggest that. That's what you're taking from my...
No, you said percentages of sales.
Do you know how many students at ordinary level would be happy doing ratios and percentages, etc., leaving the old syllabus? We have
I just want to ask you a simple question, because it's very dear to my heart.
Maths is. I'm delighted to hear that, George.
Yeah, but I had what I would describe as an old-fashioned maths teacher, Freddie Holland and Alfie Madden, who actually wrote the book for the Leaving Cert, Holland and Madden. But what you've dismissed outrageously, no, you have. You've outrageously dismissed the fella who wants to study history, the guy who wants to be a broadcaster, the guy who wants to be a painter.
How have I dismissed them, George?
Because they don't need honours maths.
No, but they need ordinary level maths, and they need to understand the maths that they do in school. That may help
But
them
they won't
in other
get in.
jobs.
As we saw on the front page
But
of
they
the
won't
paper
get
this
in?
morning, people won't get in.
To their courses?
Because the rising tide of this grade inflation has lifted all
Well,
boats.
I'm so
because
glad.
you've added 25
I'm
points
so glad you brought
to
this
every
up,
subject.
because
Can I just come in here, George?
It makes the CAO system look a little bit skewed, and that's what it's doing. And thankfully, universities are agreeing with you, George, that they're saying that maybe we need to change our exam system. And yes,
But you did it. You did it.
I did what?
You're the one who skewed it.
No, I'm saying that mathematics as a subject needs to be accessible and engaging to all students at honours and ordinary level. The points question is a completely separate issue, and
No,
it's an
it is
issue.
the
It's
issue.
talking about how we introduce our students into third level, and I actually think that maybe we need to reassess it, but they're already doing that when they're looking at the junior cert review.
Brendan.
Pass maths. You read out that famous, horrific question 1 the other day on the show for ordinary level on the probability. Not one number in it and a load of words. Now here's the word according to Brendan. 10,000 students in this country couldn't do that question. Our people correcting the papers had to cobble together, and the SEC will have much better terms than me because they're paid 150,000 a year and more, and they have these words. I'm going to say fiddled. And that's what they did. 10,000 people couldn't do it. And Avian is talking about this whole touchy-feely thing where we read the words. Just let me finish now. What we've got here is a massive con. Let me give you an example. You know the 3-card trick? Find the lady, George. 3 cards, we flip them around. Let me ask you a question. What's the odds of getting the lady, if you understand it? 3 cards, let's say 2
Brendan,
4s and a
what
queen.
you're talking
What's
about
the probability
is
of picking up
irrelevant
the
to the
lady?
classroom. This
Just
isn't
answer
maths.
the question, that's all.
1
1
and
and
3.
3.
You're talking
Excellent.
about arithmetic,
Last year, 1 and 3 is the answer, 10 out of 10. But in last year's exam in the pilot schools, if you said the chance is 3 and 1, you got 8 out of 10. Now that's completely wrong, and they gave them 8 out of 10. And it's spin. It has nothing to do with mathematics. They know no maths. They're not learning maths at all, and they're getting a C in this touchy-feely course. And if you can't read English, for whatever reason, God help you. The other thing is, and this is a gender thing, if you're in an all-girls school, and I'm here on radio saying it loud to every school, if you're in an all-girls school this year, there are very few A's in your school. And the reason is that the exam favoured people studying technology and engineering. No, it's out there. I told you here the other day about the
I'll
point
give you
system
the
going
figures. 83% of honours students got an A, B or C at honours level this year. That's up from 80% last year. And 66% of them got an A at ordinary level last year. I don't know why you're going on
that's
about...
wrong. That figure's wrong.
This year they did, and 69% last year.
63% got an A.
66. A, B or C. I'm talking about an honours. So I need to go back to that first point. I understand you keep going on about that ordinary level question 1.
Yes.
But mathematics is not all about numbers. Mathematics is about patterns. It's about equations.
Agreed.
Mathematicians do not deal with numbers on a regular basis. They deal with problems in a context that is given to them, that they translated into mathematics and is brought back again. So that's what we are teaching our students, that it's not just all about numbers. We're making it accessible to all the students to have a look at probability in a different way, to look at complex numbers in relation to doing graphics for their computer programming, doing graphics for their sat-nav. They now understand the benefits and the applications of these. Before this, students would not have understood the benefit or the reason that they would have differentiation.
They do not understand
Now they
it.
do
No, they
see
don't.
the background to
They
it.
don't understand it at all.
And they can
The
graph it
marking
as well.
scheme was cobbled together. They didn't understand it. 3 and 1 for find the lady
Brendan,
instead of 1 and 3 getting 8 out of 10. Give me a break.
Exams are going to be changing year to year. This syllabus is here now, and it is going to give us better students going into third level.
I'm all in favour of people being able to do graphs for sat-navs, for putting man on the moon, for doing all
for
that.
CERN, for discovering new particles, for the Mars rover. Yes,
I'm all for it. But 83% of the people who do honours maths in the Irish Leaving Cert will not be involved in putting a man on the moon.
No,
some of them will be hotel managers, salesmen. They will be
and
historians.
won't they need to know how to read graphs and charts when they're looking at their sales from year to years, when they're looking at their employee statistics for year to year?
I tell you what they will need. I tell you what they will need. They will need to be able to get in to the course of their choice. And what you did did by only
George,
having...
you're skewing this entire
I'm
debate.
not.
This debate is about introducing a syllabus that is better
This
equipped
is
for our
the
students.
reason-
It's not about getting
No, the
into
syllabus is
university
awful
courses.
and miles too long. Awful
syllabus-
and miles too long. They're the
this
phrases
syllabus-
you need to remember. Come
No,
on.
excuse me. This
miles
syllabus
too long and awful.
is on par with other international syllabi that have been brought in the last few years. It is, of course, it's real world problems and about problem solving, but it also includes the abstract mathematics, and we are doing a service to all of our students in secondary school by
Well, just
introducing
answer
this.
fairly simple questions, because I'm not an expert
I
in
answer all simple
I'm not an expert in mathematics, and I'm not a teacher, and I'm not all those kind of things. But what I don't understand is, why does everybody have to do honours maths?
I'm not saying that everybody has to do honours maths, George.
But they do, because they cannot get into university
But George, maths
without
is only
doing on. So
one
if
of
you,
the 6 subjects that will be counted on your CAO.
But it's
and yes,
skewed now
for
by
the
25
For the
points.
next 5 years, there will be a
you're
bonus
good at
point of
percentages.
25.
You're
Yeah.
good at percentages. The top score to get into university is in or about 500.
Mm-hmm.
25 bonus points is what percentage of 500? Right? I'll give it to you. It's 5%. I did that in my head.
Okay. Oh,
Explain to me.
wonderful.
Explain
Okay.
to me. Explain to me why in the Irish school system of the 1930s
George, the debate
and the
that you're
40s.
generating here is the CAO system. This is not about the maths syllabus, but I can tell you that internationally, Project Maths has actually been welcomed. Sarah Lubianski, who's a US Fulbright scholar, wrote a paper last year to say that Project Maths is very similar to the national standards of teachers in America, and she actually commends teachers in Ireland for being so progressive and for taking this on.
I'm thrilled you quoted a Fulbright scholar in America. How do you get into university in America? Do they have the CAO system?
No, they don't.
Correct.
Yes.
That's the whole point.
So
you can give 100 points bonus in America to honours maths.
You can,
and
okay,
it
so that's
makes
your
sweet
debate.
FA chance difference to getting into university.
Wonderful, but my
I think
point
Avian here
here
is
is
singing the
that
praises
this
of Project
curriculum.
Maths in a sense, and you'd sound it was wonderful.
But
They spent
because of
90
my
million on
students,
this.
Brendan, 'cause
and
I
if you
care
look
about the
at
students.
this Project Maths website, it's worthy of an Eastern European cartoon from the early 60s. You and I
And now
can
you're
remember
going to
those.
argue
And what
about
I'm
the
saying is that's the
website.
quality that we've got, and that's the myth. And these
Brendan,
people
there are
in
so
Project
many
Maths would say
resources
that to you.
available
Oh,
for the
somebody
teachers.
from Poland says this. There are and you'll be told if I say something, you'll be told that's just one opinion.
Brendan.
There are loads of people in this country. Steve Kirkland, just let me do this. Is the
If you were to bring in Steve
is the
Kirkland
Stokes
into
professor
this.
of maths in
And I am
Maynooth.
so surprised
And
that
what
an
he had
academic
said,
put
one of
his
the things
name
he
to
said
that
was,
paper.
what you're saying, George, is exactly one size does not fit all. And that's what we've got here. We've got a system where we're given 25 points to sit in honours maths when we should really be having a separate maths
Again,
course.
Brendan,
And
you're
again,
talking about
it's
the
it's
CAO point
codology.
system.
Yes,
This
but you have to look at that. You
syllabus-
can't.
No,
what
but
about
this
the students?
syllabus is far
you
better
can't
for
mess the
students
students around
who-
here. These students, you've got a
before-
job. You've got a career. These
I
kids
don't
are
have a
coming
job,
up trying
actually.
to
I'm a
have.
PhD student,
Well,
so-
but you're involved. These people are trying to get where you're trying to get to. I'm a parent or a student. We're bringing out. We're working. We're studying
Okay.
solid.
You're
we're
getting
paying
very
money for
caught up
everything.
in this now.
And no, I'm just saying it to you. I mean, I'm serious. There's people out there who are
I
as
know you're
passionate as I
serious.
am if they've got children.
Yes.
And the point about it is, you've got to take them into account here. And they're not being taken into account. And Project Maths takes none of them into
Brendan,
account.
I
And
wanted
it
to come
poo-poos
on.
the whole thing.
Brendan, I wanted to come on today because I think yourself and your team have been.
I've no
you know,
team. I don't
well,
have a team.
Yourself and George, you co-write the book together. You've been spouting a lot of figures that were absolutely untrue, and I wanted to come on
Not
today.
one figure untrue.
Well, actually, George said the whole thing cost 100 million.
I
and
didn't
actually
mention
it's
it.
been-
I didn't
George
mention
No,
100
George
million.
Humphrey, not you, George. I have two very touchy males in the room
I
with
didn't
me.
mention
No,
I
George,
wanted
George,
to come
can
on
I ask
today
a question
to
just
speak
about
to.
about
Excuse
money?
me, I'll let you finish your
Let
point.
Evelyn finish.
I wanted to come on
Sorry.
today to
Let Evelyn finish.
to just speak to parents and students and tell them that this mathematics syllabus is based on international educational research. It has a lot of work from third level academics and second level teachers gone into it. It has been pushed forward by the department because this is the way forward now. It contains problem solving as well as abstract mathematics. We are hopefully broadening the net of people who will enjoy maths in school and will thus have math skills after second level. So we are gathering more students who may come out of school and say, I actually liked maths, because maths is an incredibly important subject that's used in all aspects of business, of even medicine, administering drugs. It's in every part of working life and real life. And that's why the syllabus had to change in order to bring it into the 21st century. It has changed. Teachers are being offered 10 full days of training. They're also being offered free courses in evenings and weekends in education centres. So, the work has gone into this. It is the way forward. It is better for our students, and there should not be the stress that yourself and your colleagues are causing with the furore about it. It is going ahead, and teachers are well equipped, and I commend all of the teachers for all the work that they've put into it. That all the resources are there, and students are doing as well as ever, because in the project schools, in the pilot schools, the 24 pilot schools, the students actually have improved the pass level, and there are more students taking it at ordinary level apart from foundation. And that's what we want. The whole aim of this is that we want more of our young people to enjoy mathematics.
And that's
all right. Okay, we're running out of time. My thanks to Brendan Gilday and his colleagues, whoever they might be, and Ivini Hulawan, who was part of the team at the Department of Education who brought in the bonus system and, of course, the whole Project Maths idea.